Okay, so I finished the first season of Symphogear yesterday. So that was episodes 12 and 13. I haven't started season 2 yet. I'll probably just take a couple days off, so I probably won't watch any today. Probably won't watch any tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow night if I really want to. But I plan on really starting Friday. So I'll try to do the same thing, 2, maybe 3 episodes a day. It's 13 episodes, so by mid next week I'll probably be done with season 2. So anyway, just getting into the last couple episodes. So episode 12, like instead of doing the intro sequence and then the ending sequence, when the episode starts, they're just playing the ending song. And a personal trope that I adore in anime is when the opening, and sometimes with the ending too, although I don't get that one as often, when it just plays during an episode, especially during a really hype scene. So it's starting with the ending thing, I'm like, that's fucking cool. And then the episode ends with the opening, like during a big transformation sequence, and then the start of the next episode also plays like, I don't think it was at the start. There's a part in the finale during like a lengthier action scene, they're just playing the opening and they play the full version of the opening, and like that just does it for me. I absolutely adore that shit. So we get that. So after Chris, uses her swan song, she falls presumably to her death. Yes, I do. Can you give me like 10, 15 minutes or so? Sorry, I was talking to my roommate about something. We're going to be heading out pretty soon. I just wanted to go ahead and get this video out, and then we're going to go take care of some businessy shit. Anyways, point. So Chris falls. Hibiki's like, she's on the verge of snapping because her friend just died. And then Fiend is just talking mad shit the entire time, and that's what causes her just to snap. So you get feral, shadowy Hibiki beating the shit out of Fiend, and then she turns on Tsubasa, starts attacking Tsubasa. So Tsubasa does another one of my favorite anime tropes, which is just the cool down hug, where you hug your homie, get him to calm down. And when she does that, she also uses an ability she used in a previous fight with Chris, where she pins Hibiki's shadow so Hibiki can't move, and then Tsubasa goes to work. She starts beating the shit out of Fiend. She does the giant sword dive kick again, which I fucking loved. I was really happy to see the sword dive kick come back. She fucks up the tower. I believe she also used her swan song because it's kind of portrayed as like another self-sacrifice, and while this is happening, as Tsubasa is just going to work and hauling ass, you get the shadowy Hibiki unable to move and then just crying. And I was like, oh, that's actually like a really strong image. Fuck, that's really sad to look at. After that happens, so Chris is out of commission, Tsubasa is out of commission, Hibiki is also kind of out of commission because like it's like, okay, so Tsubasa's power disappears and she is seemingly dead. Hibiki then just kind of powers down, and now that the tower's destroyed, Fiend is really pissed off. She talks about how she she was a priestess of God, but fell in love with the creator, wanted to build the tower so she could go see him, but then it was struck down, and the moon started existing, and blah, blah, blah. So she just wants to take all her frustration out on Hibiki, starts beating the shit out of her. There's this one part where she grabs her by her hair and holds up Hibiki, like, by the hair, and her eyes just looked lifeless. And I remember that was another one. I was like, that's a pretty unsettling image. Like, if I had just seen that as a thumbnail out of context, I might have thought she was about to just, like, rip the girl's head off. I'm glad she didn't, but, like, holy shit. That happens, and I believe it's kind of like while Hibiki is getting her ass kicked, it's also like while she's in Shadow Feral mode and getting her ass kicked, all of her friends back at the school are like, we need to help her out. What do we gotta do? She really likes the school. She likes the school anthem. Let's play that. Let's all get together and sing and broadcast it so she could hear and she could get like super strong and shit. And it works because the power of music's a fucking beautiful thing. And then Fiend is listening to it. She's like, what is this dog shit music? Where is it coming from? Let's just turn that shit off. And Hibiki, hearing the school theme and all her friends singing, she gets a power boost. She gets her second wind. The other two get the same thing, and we get a transformation sequence where everyone gets new outfits and telepathy for some reason. I mean, they don't really explain the new outfits or anything, but I almost kind of buy it. But they're like, oh shit, we can now communicate telepathically. Sure, dog. Why fucking not? So I just wanted to check the notes. So yeah, and then we're on episode 13, where it's like, now that they're like that, they're fighting Fiend, and then Fiend just starts summoning a bunch of noise. They start beating the shit out of the noise, and then Fiend absorbs them, and talks about how the noise are like this man-made artificial construct. I guess that was made back in very ancient times, like along with the Tower of Babel, and it was, I guess, because with the tower and the curse not understanding each other, people were trying to fight each other and like basically bring the planet to destruction. I guess that's what the noise are, and she absorbs them and turns it to the horror of Babylon. And it basically just looks like a giant angel from Ava, so I kind of dug the design. That happens, the girls are fighting. I believe this is the action scene where the opening starts playing. They're able to kind of fuck her shit up. There was a point where I just noticed, like, Chris's new design and outfit. I was like, why does she look like a giant jet? Okay, let me rephrase that. I'm not really questioning it, because I feel like if I question any of the insanity, I'm missing the point of the show. But I was like, she looks like a giant jet. I dig that. So they take Durandal, which is being used as, like, the battery for the Whore of Babylon, because, sure, it was also, I believe, used as the battery for the tower. So at one point, like, they're trying to get it away, and you just see the sword in the air going, pew, 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 like, just kind of bouncing, like, what the fuck is going on? And then it cuts to Chris holding a pistol and just shooting the sword, so it's just bouncing toward Hibiki, and, like, that definitely got a good giggle out of me. Hibiki grabs it, uses it like it's fucking Excalibur from Fate, fucks up Fiend, and, you know, like, day is saved. Fiend is not killed, Hibiki saved her, they have a bit of a conversation, and then Fiend's like, you know what, fuck you. Gets her whip sword, sends it to the moon, is able to basically hookshot that fragment of the moon that got knocked off because of the Tower of Babel laser, and then just fucking yanks it down to the planet. So then she talks about how she's like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking destroy the world, but it's okay, I'm an immortal being, even if I die, I will just come back. Has a shorter conversation with Hibiki, disappears, and Hibiki's like, cool, I gotta go fucking save the planet. So she, Tsubasa, and Chris fly up into space to go stop the moon fragment. When they are in the vacuum of space where there is no sound, not only are they breathing, they are still singing, and it's not telepathic, like they're talking to each other telepathically, like, okay, makes sense, they're in space. They're still singing, and their weapons get fucking massive. Tsubasa's sword goes from like, okay, that's a believable sword length to just a fucking massive meat cleaver. Chris just gets like a bunch of artillery that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I laughed really hard at that. I don't really know what Hibiki's thing is, because like it's like a rail or something. I'm actually a little confused about what she does with that, but her thing got super big too. They use like their power, I don't know if it's exactly their swan song or not, it might have been, but they're able to blow up the fragment of the moon before it lands down to Earth. They are presumably killed, and then that's when you get to the scene from the start of the first episode where Miku is going to Hibiki's grave. It is an unmarked grave to kind of keep the state secret of the Symphogear and their users and blah 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 blah, but at the very end you find out, no, they are still alive, because of course they are, and that's basically how the show ends. Is there anything else that you had to say? Not really. So that's episodes 12 and 13. They're a lot of fun. I remember watching episode 11, and like I said in my thoughts on it, it is, excuse me, sorry. It is the exact over-the-top goofy shit that I wanted from this show, and I loved it. Episode 12 felt a lot more episode 12 still had some like over-the-top cool shit. Again, you get the sword dive kick. But it felt more like if this was the goofy shit, this was the kind of heart of the show. You know, focusing on the relationships between the girls and stuff, and like their genuine struggle to try to save the world. And I liked that. And then episode 13, I feel like, was a pretty good mix of both. My overall thoughts, I had a lot of fun with it. I think the fights are fun. There's a lot of creative, over-the-top set pieces. Again, the main villain's plan is I constructed the Tower of Babel, put Roland's sword in it to use as a battery, so I could shoot a giant laser to blow up the moon. Sure, dog. Like, I'm on board for whatever bullshit you got for me now. Like, I think it's a lot of fun. I think the soundtrack is fantastic, like, throughout. Like, whether it's the opening, the ending, the girls' actual songs or just the background music. I think it's all really good. I like magical girl shows. Madoka Magica, one of my favorites of all time. Nanoha, the first season, I think is fine. A's, the second season, I think is phenomenal. Kill la Kill, I like a lot. I think there's a couple others that I'm forgetting off the top of my head. Like, I haven't really seen Sailor Moon. I feel like there's another one I've even referenced while talking about Symphogears. But regardless, like, it's a genre I do like, and it has some kind of Gurren Lagann-ness to it, too, which I also really like. I like that one of the big themes of the show is just music. It was made by a composer. It makes sense. It's like just the power of music and how it's something that can unite people and bring them together. Literally, Chris's parents were trying to like bring about world peace and stop conflict with the power of music. It's a little silly when you say it out loud, but I'm also like, I kind of buy that, because if there is one force that could do shit like that, music is probably one of them. So overall, I'm glad I saw it. Is it a show that makes me go like, yo, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen, this is going to top my list of like my favorite anime of all time? No. But I'm glad I saw it, and I'm looking forward to watching more. Like I said, I'm going to take a day or two off, but I do want to start season 2 relatively soon, and I hope it's as good as season 1. I hope it's like Nanoha, where you have I will say, I like this first season of Symphogears a lot more than the first season of Nanoha overall. But I hope the jump from season 1 to season 2 is about as big as it was from Lyrical to A's. So, like I said, I really liked it. Looking forward to getting to season 2 pretty soon.